All right, all right, all right. Thank you so much for joining me today on Red Pill Investor. Thank you so much for joining me here also on my channel on YouTube at Sell More Homes Now. I apologize for not being able to be with you for the last couple of days. I have been overcoming a bit of a cold, as you can tell in the sound of my voice. I'm a little bit hoarse, but I am certainly feeling exceptionally well. I just sound absolutely horrible. So I certainly appreciate you guys tuning in today. I've got some great news. I've got some great prospects today. A lot of these people I already know. They listed with some other people, and now their home is expired. So we're going to definitely be making a couple calls. I want to give a couple shouts out to a couple of my good friends over at a company that shall remain nameless. I am not going to speak their name out of my lips, but you know who you are because you're watching your boy here, Karl, on your conference room in your company. Who you better not let your broker find out. You know who you are. All right, guys, thank you so much for following along. Let's go ahead and get started. Today, what we're going to do is prospect. As you know, I've been out for a couple days, so I got a couple great expireds, got lots of for sale by owners, and we're going to have a lot of good calls. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's face the Lord in prayer. If you didn't go to church this weekend, well, shame on you. You should have went. You missed a great time. All right, let's go ahead and take it to the Lord in prayer. Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for our health. We thank you for all the things that we're going to do today. Lord, I just ask that you'd bless the people that hear this. I ask that you'd bless them in their business, help them learn something that will help them in their communities, help them make more money and be more prosperous. Lord, I just ask that you'd bless the people who are going to pick up the phone today, that I'd be able to say the right thing, that I'd be able to speak something that's helpful to them, that I'd be able to guard my tongue against wickedness, Lord, and that you would use everything we do to your glory. Thank you so much. We'll bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let's go ahead and get cracking. Now, if you're just joining me, feel free to go ahead, write your comments right there in the lower end corner, and I will definitely go ahead and hit you up when I see the comment. Let's go ahead and get over to Vortex and start dialing. Boom. All right, so I'm going to take a drink of my water here. Problem is, I have a nasty habit of drinking Dr. Pepper. And Dr. Pepper has a little too much sugar in it. And when you're prospecting, that's not a good thing because the sugar, as you know, makes it very difficult for your throat to act right. So you definitely want to go ahead and be careful what you drink. You know, good, hot, solid liquids. When you're prospecting, a good thing to think about when you're prospecting, you want to do everything in the morning to get your prospecting.
Hello?
Hi, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
I'm fine. How can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not sure if I have the right person. I apologize. Are you the lady who owns the property over there on Cush Canyon Loop?
Yes.
Oh,
My
wonderful.
husband does.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Wonderful. My name is Karl Krentzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty, and I was calling to see, is that property still available?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, because it looked like it came up as an expired listing the other day. Did you guys relist it with your last agent?
I think so. You know, he's got a partner, and I knew it was going to be in June.
Oh,
He's gotten in touch with his one partner, but I do know I think they have to call the realtor, and I'm not sure he's gotten to it yet. But,
okay, no worries.
yeah, as far as I know, it'll be going back on the market.
Okay.
It's off right now.
No worries. I'm wondering, do you think that they'd consider perhaps interviewing a different agent for the job?
You know what? I can give you my husband's number.
Sure. Hang on just a second. Let me. Okay, go right ahead. Let's see here. Go right ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got it right there. Okay, that's no problem. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, so she just gave me the number that I already had, which is cool. So I'm going to put that down as the referrer, and I need to call this guy right now. Let's see here. Hmm. Can I dial it this way? Huh. Let's see, keep dialing. What I'm going to do, hang on just a minute, folks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write this guy's number down here so I won't miss it, because sometimes I'm not 100% sure how this computer works just yet. It's still kind of new to me. There we go. So I got his number down. So basically what she, as you know, she's saying that they've not relisted it yet. It looks like this is the number right here. The number that she gave me is the next number that I'm calling right now. So this is the owner. Yeah. So if he picks up, this is...
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
Who's this? I'm sorry.
Oh, I apologize. My name is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
Good. What can I do for you?
Yes, sir. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. I just spoke with your wife a few moments ago about your property on Cush Canyon Loop. Have you got a moment to talk about it, sir?
Not really, no.
No worries. I know you're planning on relisting that property. I'm curious, have you even considered maybe interviewing somebody other for the job?
Yeah, we probably will. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I got to run. Thanks.
All right. When's a good time for me to catch up with you? Cool. No problem. Well, here's what we're going to do. All right. So we know that he's going to be potentially doing that, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to mark him down. All right. And we'll get with him in a bit. Boom. Okay. So this should be moving on to the next person, it looks like. Yeah, good. Okay, perfect. So we got one potential lead right there. Now this person, you know, he doesn't have a whole lot of time to talk, and I get that, right? Sometimes what you want to do is you want to ask the question anyway, just super quick, to see if you can get any kind of information. He's like, well, yes, we are. And then he's like hanging up. Okay, cool. I can deal with that, right? Because I'm the same way, right? If I got to go someplace or I'm in the middle of something, look, I don't have time to talk, click, I'll hang up on you. It's nothing personal. It's just the way I am. Sounds like he's that kind of personality. And you want to listen to people when you're talking to them on the phone and distinguish what type of personality they are. You know, you can very quickly tell the difference between personalities on people. You know, his wife, when we were just talking to her, if you want to rewind the podcast a little bit, and if you're on YouTube, you can certainly rewind it. Or hello? Hi, my name is Karl. I'm looking for the owner of a property on Heritage Canyon. Is that your property?
No.
Oh my gosh, I got the wrong number. I'm sorry. Well, listen, since I got you anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
I'm sorry.
Okay, have a great day. Doesn't sound like he understood English too well. So let's see, wrong number. Delete that and count that. Yeah, okay, cool. So when people are on the phone, you want to try and make a very quick assessment, if you can, of their personality type, right? And you can do this by the way they speak, how they say things, what they say over time. I mean, I've heard this described a million different ways. You know, Mike Ferry describes it. You know, the what is it? The dominant, or the expressive, oh gosh, I can't even think of it off the top of my head, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, everybody has heard of these four personality types. You know, you've got the driver, you got the analytical, you got the expressive, you got the amiable. Those are the ones.
Yeah, that's Sergio.
Hey.
Your name and number. I'll be sure to get back to you.
Those are the ones that Mike Ferry had taught me. And most, you know, you've heard that in probably a different way, but the point is the same, right? People have a particular particular type, and you want to figure out what kind of type they are quickly. And if they're a driver type, like that guy sounded like, the just get to the point very quickly kind of guy, then boom, don't be offended if they hang up, and don't take it personally, right? Whereas his wife, she sounded a little bit more expressive. You know, she's like, well, you know, it's my husband and they got a partner, and they're, you know, so when you start figuring those things out, an expressive's willing to talk to you a little bit or explain things, right? So it's super critical if you're going to be presenting to people, and think about this from more than just a prospecting perspective. I mean, if you're out there prospecting, certainly it makes sense to understand, personnel. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi there. This is Karl Krentzel. How are you today? How are you? See, now I got my thing on Do Not Disturb, and somebody still manages to call through these telemarketers. This one I know is from a telemarketer because they're calling from Casa Grande. That's where they always call from. Let's see here. No answer. All right. So it's super critical if you're going to be prospecting that you start to recognize personality types. I guess that's really what I'm saying, because that will help you identify certain things and not get.
Hello.
Hi, this is Karl Krentzel. Hi, this is Karl. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, sorry, I can't. Who's this again?
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. I was having a little trouble with my phone. My name's Karl Krentzel. I'm not sure if I have the right person. I'm looking for the owners of a property out there on Sorrel Station or Sorrel Salion. Is that your property?
Oh, no, it's not mine.
Oh my
Nope.
goodness. Do you know anything about that property at all?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
rented there for a couple of years and I left and I don't know anything about it.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, I got the wrong fella then. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day. Since I got you anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash since I got you here?
No, I'm a doctor. I'm at work. I got.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, hey, you have a great day. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. So wrong number. Delete and count. Okay, good. Keep going. All right, here we go. All right. So anyway, we got so far we got one person that we know will be relisting. They're a little busy. Fine. We'll follow up with them later. Right. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started into today's news. If you're joining me for the first time, thank you for joining me. My name again is Karl Krentzel. I like to do this every day. Just run a little podcast and run a little bit of a live prospecting session with you here on YouTube, so that you can go ahead and be inspired to prospect on your own. Get out there and make sure that you get some good information along the way, and hopefully have a laugh or two at my expense while we're doing it. So let's go ahead and start with the first news today. This is investors. This is coming from Fox and Friends. It's not Fox and Friends. It's one of their former hosts.
Hello?
Hi, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today? Hello? Hello? One of them situations where I sound too much like a recording, I think. All right. This comes to us from the Indianapolis Star, actually. This was
The number 623934.
This comes to us from the Indianapolis Star. It says Clayton Morris, the affable former co-host of TV's Fox and Friends, portrays himself on his popular podcasts and YouTube videos as a real estate investment expert who is in the business of helping others achieve financial freedom. That sounds nice. His company, Morris Invests, has been involved in hundreds of property transactions in Indianapolis. But in his wake is a trail of disgruntled investors, tenants living in deplorable conditions, and dilapidated Indianapolis homes that could plague the city for years.
Hello.
Hey there, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm not sure if I have the right person, so I apologize in advance. I was looking for the Brandons. They own some property over there on Glen Abbey. Is that your property?
It was. It's sold.
Oh, hey, congratulations. Well, God bless you. That's wonderful. Well, listen, since I got you anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
I don't.
Okay, great. Well, listen.
Because I'm up in Michigan now.
Oh, well, God bless you. Well, you have a wonderful day, okay?
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's mark this as sold. Let's see, sold. Oh, okay. All right. Now, this is a fella that I'm going to pay attention to because I know this guy. I've seen this house, and he listed it with somebody, and now it's expired. See if he picks up.
This is Bob.
Hey, Bob. Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
Oh, hi, Carl. Fine, thank you.
I'm not sure if you'd remember me or not.
I remember you.
How's your day going, Bob?
Well, I'm out shoveling dirt. What do you think?
Yeah, I know, brother. I know. You're probably getting a ton of these calls too, huh?
Well, yeah, ton and a half.
Well, I got some good news. I'm sorry to hear that your property didn't sell, but I'm on my own over here at Sotheby's International, and I'm wondering if you still wanted to sell.
Well, the house, we're not planning on putting it back on the market right away, but the house is still for sale.
Kind of like the last time, right?
Yep.
Okay, no problem.
You know,
And what's the price now?
bad. Why not do it again?
Well, I hear you there. I can certainly hear you. What's the price now?
Well, I think we're down about 1.2.
Okay, all right. So when it was on the market, did you get any action at all?
Yeah, we got a lowball offer that we declined.
Okay, all right, no worries. Well, the only reason why I'm asking, I mean, I know that you guys, it's not like this place is killing you. I mean, I know that. But I mean, ultimately, you don't want to keep this thing forever either. And this has got to be getting frustrating. Huh?
It is getting a little bit stale.
Well, it's getting a little frustrating, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was frustrating 2 years ago.
Well, Bob, I mean, now that I'm over here at, Sotheby's on my own, right? I'm not working, for anybody else. I'm able to say exactly what I was telling you back then. But I think what has changed since the last time we talked is that, the market, I know that you've probably been watching it just like everybody else. The market itself is starting to pool. You know what I mean when I say pool?
No, I don't.
Okay. So just, in a brief fashion, as you know, every year people put their homes up on the market in the spring and then they sell and then they go to, Boca Raton or whatever and whatnot. But the problem is that that's been working every year except for this year. The last 7 years, the market's been going up, 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 up. Except this year, when people put their home on the market in the spring, the homes didn't sell, and you've got a lot of homes, not just in Tucson, but this is in really 33 of the 35 markets that Zillow markets to across the United States. They have people's homes not selling from the spring, and then you have people putting their homes up in the summer, and that just adds pooling. There's just more homes on the market. So buyers, what's happening is they're seeing your property. It's not specifically your property or any other property that's been on the market for a period of time. It's just any property. And they think to themselves, well, gosh, there's this property and there's this other property down the way and there's a whole bunch of property available for sale. And they remember what it was like in 2005, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11. And I guess what I'm wondering is, if you knew by waiting it out another, 6 months to a year, you could be costing yourself that low ball offer, would you still want to hold on to the property that year long?
Yep.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah, we love living there.
I wouldn't blame you. It's a beautiful home.
We've chosen to sell it, but we still enjoy every day that we get to live there.
Well, I can't say that I'll blame you. Well, listen, Bob, I saw your number come up on my list here, and I wanted to reach out to you because, as you know, I couldn't really contact you with the code of ethics when you were listed before, but I did enjoy meeting you, and I did want to reach out and let you know I'm over here at Sotheby's if you should ever need a hand. You've got my number right there on your phone. Okay?
Well, yeah. I see the house that you folks had for a while over on Beachway finally sold.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing.
Yes, sir. Those folks were real nice people, and their house was, the biggest problem I think that they had with their property was they got the little children, and then there's rattlesnakes around, and mama's not cool with that. So,
Well, she shouldn't live in the desert. Yeah.
well, I don't think that really entered their mind. I mean, they moved there, I think, before they had the baby. And then the baby came along, and then, things change. Life happens.
So. It's like living on a boat and worrying about sharks. I mean, crying out loud.
Well, Bob, you're a man after my own heart. All right. Well, listen, Bob, when you're getting ready and you feel like, you see what I'm coming, because you can go research this yourself if you'd like. But yeah, Zillow did a study. They said that they noticed that in the first quarter of the year, 34 out of the 35 markets that they market to either went down in value or remained the same. Only one went up. And so I think realistically what we're starting to see is not necessarily a cooling of the market, but I think what we're seeing is a normalization of the market. It's not going to be, the quick sales. So.
Well, I'll give you the same spiel I give every other realtor that calls. The house may not be on the MLS, but it's still for sale. So if you have a party that's interested in a house like ours, or a house in particular that they may want in their park, we're more than interested in negotiating a single party listing at any time.
I appreciate that, Bob. I appreciate that, and I'll keep that in mind.
Most of the guys just want to list the thing and then go play golf. But if you actually have a customer, bring them around.
Well, I can certainly appreciate where you're coming from, Bob, and I would agree. Most agents probably are interested in having your listing. May I tell you why?
Sure, go ahead.
Because it's a trophy. It is. It's a trophy. I mean, think about it. Go take I don't care what you want to ask for it. 1.2, 1.5, hell, ask 2. I don't care. Because when you list it, I'm going to take some nice pictures. I'm going to show it around, and, it's going to be a crown kind of thing. And I'm not going to have to do much. And that's what a lot of people tend to think. And that's why your home sits there for a couple years. But the reality is that most people, I imagine, that you've made that offer to, they've not even come by with a single buyer. Is that fair to say?
Oh, of course. None of them have.
May I tell you why?
We basically, people on the outside, we simply call you guys listing agents. You list it, and then you go have a beer and play golf.
I would certainly agree that that's a fair assertion. Yeah, I would agree with that. And how do you think I feel? I got to work with these guys. I've done this 23 years. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. I'll tell you, the thing that I've noticed, and maybe you have too, the thing that I've noticed is that if I had to, let's say, take you up on your offer, and I appreciate your offer because it is generous. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of money, and that you're offering me, and I'm grateful for it. On the other hand, I know that if I was to go do that legally, and as smart as you are, I mean, you've done this a long time. You're a smart cat, and you get a lawyer to check things out. I get it, but I'm legally responsible for you. And if I'm only getting paid half the commission, and I'm responsible for both of you, the buyer and you, well, why should I sell your property when I can go sell, Joe Schmuckatelli's house down the street? You know what I mean? The listing agent,
unless you have the listing, you're still getting the same commission whether you have the listing or not.
But I do twice the work. You see what I'm saying?
Because nobody's asking you to represent the other party.
Well, I know you're not, but the state of Arizona says that I am. See, here's the thing. Even though you're a smart guy, even though you're, in a $1.2 million house, right? The state of Arizona can say, well, gosh, Karl is a real estate broker with 23 years experience. And Bob, he's just a homeowner. And what does he know about real estate? And Karl brought this buyer in and blah, 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 blah. Now, and I know you're not that guy, right? But God forbid, let's say anything went wrong. A person could make that case as, hey, Karl took advantage of me. And that's why I'm responsible for both of you legally. In now, not to say that, you know, I have to represent your interests or anything like that. No, but I do have to make sure that certain things are complied to with the state law in order for me to be a part of that transaction. And if you're offering me X%, which is half or whatever the buying side, let's say, well, then that essentially means that I'm responsible legally for you, which is what the state requires, which has nothing to do with you. And then I'm also legally responsible for the buyer, but I'm only getting paid half the money, if that makes sense. Where I could, let's say, take that same buyer to a listed property where that agent is responsible for that seller, and I don't even have to worry about it. Do you see what I'm saying? If it was simply as if listing a property, and I understand where you're coming from in the sense that listing agents go, put the sign in the yard, put it in MLS, and pray it sells. You know, that with the 3P method is what I call it, right? I get it.
Yeah.
You know, however, if that's all it took to sell a home, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. You would have been sold 2 years ago, the first time you were listed. The cold, hard truth is that only maybe 45% of homes that go on the multiple listing service sell the first time around. Did you know that?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. Well, that means 65%, 65 out of 100 families that go on the MLS every day do not sell. That's what that means. And that's not good. I mean, if you have 100, because just today, 119 families came on the market today. That's just, I mean, all price ranges and whatnot, of course, but, and if 65 of those families didn't sell their properties, you know, that's not a good thing. If only 45 of them sell, that's not so good. And most people tend to think that you put your home on the MLS and 100% of the time it's going to sell. And that's just not the way it works. And unfortunately, the reason, go ahead.
That's not the way it works. But back to your previous point, if you're signing a buyer's broker agreement with the people that you're representing, that pretty much doesn't make you responsible for my end of the deal. You're
correct. You are absolutely correct. But the state of Arizona and the commissioners of real estate state that agency, there can't be, it's very difficult, let's say, to have single agency, which is what you're talking about, me representing the buyer, me sending the contract to you, and then having you, unless you're going to take it to an attorney, you know, if the attorney's going to write it off and say, yeah, I'm taking Karl off the responsibility issue. I mean, you see what I'm saying? No, very few agents that I'm aware of who do this professionally will take you up on this kind of offer simply because of it's just a lot easier for them to go find another property. And I think the argument that I'm simply making is that perhaps, and I might be wrong, and I frequently am, perhaps maybe you got the idea of a listing agent wrong and just got hooked up with people who do that, who just put homes on the MLS, put a sign in the yard, pray it sells, and go play golf. And now I just added a fourth P to my plan. Thank you, Bob. I'm gonna write that down right now. That just gave me I'm gonna write now. Put it in MLS. Let's put a sign in the yard, put it in MLS, pray, and then play golf. That's the new 4P of method. That's the 4P method. You just sparked that in my heart right there. Thank you. I'm going to use that forevermore.
Well, at least you'll get some comments. People will say, well, what about the 3Ps? And you'll say, no, there are actually 4.
There's 4 now. That's exactly right. Because every other realtor, you know, is going to be aware of maybe 3Ps, but 4Ps, they won't know. But honestly, Bob, I mean, you know me, you know the kind of guy I am. I'm not going to come over there and BS you. Why don't I do this? I'm going to head over at 1:00 today to another guy who is just like you, right? Except he's on the east side. And I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to just show him where we get our buyers over here at Sotheby's. And it's far different than I think what perhaps other people might have talked to you about. And then you just, you know, you take that in your heart, you pray about it, and then, let the Lord describe where you need to go. And
Oh, don't go there.
okay, well,
Just don't go there.
then fine. Then why don't we do this? Why don't I just stop by sometime this week, talk to you a little bit about, drop that off, say hi, and then I'll get out of your hair.
Well, if you choose to, the wife and I pretty much decided to just let it sit for a while and just take the summer off. But if you want to stop around, you're certainly welcome. I'm always up for a good conversation.
All right. Well, let's see here. How about tomorrow? You want to get together tomorrow around, around 2?
2 o'clock? That's when I nap.
Oh, is it? What are you doing at 2 o'clock? It's too hot to nap. Oh my goodness. How you gonna nap at 2 o'clock and then go to bed at like 7? That's what you old people do, is go to bed at 7. All right.
Yeah, actually, there are people that do that. I don't know how they do it.
All right. Well, you tell me what's a good time for you, Bob?
Well, I don't want to set a time. I don't want to commit to anything at this point, Carl. Why don't you just give me a call sometime when you're in the neighborhood?
Okay.
And if I'm around the house, you're welcome to stop by. Let's just keep it casual.
All right, my brother. All right, Bob. Well, listen,
I'm
yeah?
retired now, and I don't set schedules anymore.
I understand. All right, Bob. Well, listen, I appreciate you. Okay.
Well, bring a customer on. Make a couple of bucks. Take a risk.
Bob, if I did that for you, Bob, how would I explain that to the other people who are paying me thousands of dollars to sell their property? They've listed their homes with me because they know I don't play golf. They're counting on me to sell their properties, Bob, not yours. Tell you what, you pay me the money and I will work to sell your property. I won't just go play golf.
Well, that's a personal problem you're going to have to solve.
No problem, Bob. You enjoy that house. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Take care.
All right, brother. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right. So what we're going to do, excuse me for my cough there. Now, that guy, I've been dealing with him for a while now. I don't believe that his interest level, let's say, is where it needs to be yet. He's not quite motivated yet. He's been there for an awful long time. The problem is with him, Bob, he's a great guy. I love him to death. He's a great man. Problem is, he's got a very difficult property. He is in an area that is got airplanes and air park in it, and essentially, people who buy those properties tend to have airplanes. And here, hello?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Sounds like I might have the wrong number. I'm sorry. My name's Karl. I'm looking for Judy Sally. She owns a property over there in Vistoso Highlands. Is that your property?
Yes, this is she.
Oh, hi. Okay. Well, listen, I'll be very quick. My name is Karl Krentzel again. I'm a broker here in town who buys property. I was calling because I noticed your property went off the market the other day. Is it still available?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. Well, sounds like you've had a couple of these calls, huh?
No, yeah, well, yes, I have.
Okay. Well, no worries. And is
What
it?
can I do for you?
Well, yes, ma'am. No worries. I was just wondering, is it back on the market with your previous agent?
No, I haven't done anything with it.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, listen. Yeah, no problem. Well, my name again is Karl Krentzel. I'm a broker over here at Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. I was calling to see if you still wanted to sell it. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just not on the multiple listing service at this time, is what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
No. It was listed with Barback for a while, and she was done on the 31st, and I just haven't done anything about it, and neither is my husband.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Well, I'm curious. When do
We
you?
don't live there. We
Oh.
don't live there. We own another house, and we live in another house.
Oh.
We own.
I see. Okay.
We haven't done anything about Stone Canyon house.
No worries. Well, I'm curious. When do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling that place?
Well, any right agent that happens to call us.
Well, ma'am,
What do
I
you
believe
think about it?
I believe that I would be the right man. I believe that the Lord led me here to talk to you today, and I'd like to meet with you and your husband about it. When would be a good time?
When you want to go to Seattle.
Well, how about we do this? Seattle's a little bit far for me. Why don't I?
Seattle right
it would be until the 20th as such. And
What I
so,
could do,
when
ahead.
do you want to look at it and take?
Yeah, you tell
know,
me when would be convenient. I've got an appointment today on the other side of town at 2:00. It's going to take me a little longer, but I could go out there tomorrow.
Today is not good.
Good. Tomorrow be better.
And, I'm sorry.
Would tomorrow around 3:00 work?
Hang on. I'm doing about 10 things at once.
Oh, of course. No worries. Take your time.
I just came back where I asked some honeycomb. I walked in the door not an hour ago, so hang on here.
Yes, ma'am. No worries.
Okay. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah, what time we want to do it on Tuesday?
Would 3:00 work?
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Perfect. All right.
Your name again is?
Karl, Karl.
Got it.
And I'm with Sotheby's International Realty.
International Realty?
Sotheby's. Like the art auction place. Sotheby's, where we do the residential luxury properties.
Yeah.
So 3:00 tomorrow. And did you want me to meet you at the property, or?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay.
I'll meet you over there. It's in Stone Canyon.
No worries.
It's on the southeast corner, on the stop sign when you go in. Okay, Karl?
Yes, ma'am. No
I'll see
problems.
you then at 3 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. I'll see you then. Thank you. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you. Thanks for calling.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, what do you know? We got us a listing appointment. Just like that. Well. Good deal. Boom, 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 boom. So, hang on just a second. See, appointment set. Boom, shakalaka, boom. All right. And the name is, all right. Now, this is not a pre-qualified appointment. This is just a regular appointment, but this is somebody who's talking about listing their property, and that is critical. That's what we want to do, right? Bam. Let's press resume. Okay. So we've not been getting into the news at all. We've just been sitting here talking to people. I hope that's okay. If you came in here for the news, but you got the calls, well, I hope that was beneficial to you. And if you think that this is a benefit to you, gosh, do me a favor, share it on your social network. If you're coming here from Bigger Pockets, share it with your friends here in Bigger Pockets. I'm certainly there a lot. If you're coming here to us from Facebook or any other of the social media that I share on Instagram or these other places, give me a shout out, give me a little DM. Let me know that you've been watching because it's certainly good to hear your feedback. So let's get back into the news. Let's talk about this Clayton Morris fellow. Yeah. He went out and apparently, this is allegedly, he's the target of at least 5 lawsuits filed by out-of-state investors who claim he defrauded them in transactions involving. Hello, this is Karl.
Hello.
Hey, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you?
What do you want?
Well, I think I owe you an apology. I'm not sure if I have the right person. I apologize. My name's Karl Krentzel. I'm looking for the owner of a home on Rock Creek. Is that yours?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, I apologize for interrupting your morning, sir. Well, my name's Karl. I'm a broker here in town who buys property. Is that property still for sale?
Okay, you need to call my brother Jim.
Oh, okay. All right, no problem. Is it his property? Or is he the broker?
He is my brother and my mom's son, so I need to call my brother Jim.
Okay, all right. I have a couple different numbers, the 714-803 and a 714-581. Is either one of those the good one?
His number is
7, is it? Yes, sir. Outstanding. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you, okay? Yes, sir. You too. Bye-bye. All right. So we got another number for him. All right, so let's see. He's a let's see. Let's add a phone. 520. All right. All right, so this is the one we want right here. And this guy is a referrer. And this is the one we want. Let's see if it dials that. Okay, so we're going to call this guy right now. This is his brother. See if he picks up.
Hello.
Hey, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
It's who? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. My name is Karl Krentzel. You don't know me, and I owe you an apology. I got your number here from your brother. Have you got a moment?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'll be super brief. I'm a broker here in town. I understand your property on Rock Creek Road is still available for sale. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Is it still listed with your broker? Because it looked like it came up as an expired listing.
It is expired.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm not wonderful, but the reason why I'm calling is I was calling to see if you'd planned on interviewing. I'm with Sotheby's International Realty, and I was calling to see if you'd perhaps.
Okay. I can tell you now. I'm not going to list with Sotheby again.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. Did you have a bad experience with one of our agents?
That's who I was listed with the last time. That's the one. That's the expired listing.
Oh, well, I see. Well, I apologize. Well, listen, you have a wonderful day. Take care.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, let's see here. Guess that's not going to work. Okay. So, what you definitely want to take away from that right there. Excuse me. Good Lord. I'm so sorry. What you want to take away from that right there is that if you're in a big company that's got a bunch of knuckleheads in it, that tear the market apart, then you're going to have a problem. Fortunately, I'm in a company that does not have agents like that. It's very rare that we have an expired listing. It's very rare that we'll have.
Hello.
Hey, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I'm not sure if I have the right person. I apologize. I'm actually looking for the Huffles. They own some property here on Summer Moon. Is that your property, ma'am?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name is Karl Krentzel. I'm a broker here in town. I was actually just calling to see if that property was still for sale. Is it?
No, thank you.
Is it not for sale? Why'd you hang up on me, baby? No, I'm just going to call you back. Goodness. All right. So let's see here. Let's give that as a no answer for right now. All right. So anyway, if like in this company, we have, I'm not saying we don't have expires. We do. Of course we do, but not that many. And if you're in a big company, for example, let's say Banana Real Estate, and they've got hundreds and hundreds of real estate agents. It is, especially if they're out there doing a lot of business that is kind of weird, esoteric stuff. I get a lot of investors sometimes doing weird things, or maybe they don't have a broker that, watches everything closely. And, there's certain companies out there that will remain nameless that have alphabet boy type names. I'm not going to name names, but when you think about it, there's certain companies that come to mind that have very crazy practices, and they're very large, and they're very, they have a lot of teams, and they're just huge, and they do a lot of crazy business. And when you're calling expired listings, it's very often, if you're in one of those companies, that you'll come across an expired listing from another person in your company. And then that adds another layer that you didn't need to have, right? Another objection you just didn't need to have. And now you're dealing with it. But if you're dealing with maybe you're in a smaller company, or a company that's a little bit tighter on the rules, somebody that's a little bit more conservative, you're not going to have that much of a pushback. Now, if this fella's saying, well, gosh, I'm not going to list with Sotheby's because, I was listed with you before. Well, I know that he was with a good agent. I know all the agents in our company, and there's a benefit to that. If you're working in a company that has some crazy practices or has some people out there doing some things that are a little crazy, guess what? You don't need that kind of drama in your life. Find other companies. Getting back to good old Clayton over here. Boy, I'll tell you, said that he was the target of 5 lawsuits filed by out-of-state investors who said that he defrauded them in transactions involving dozens of properties. The lawsuits are pending in Marion Superior Court and Federal Court in Indianapolis. Many others have complained to the Attorney General offices in Indiana and New Jersey and on consumer and real estate investment websites. Oh my goodness. What can I say? That's what happens when people start looking at the television and they start feeling that people are, the TV is the real news. It's the real. I'm not saying it's Fox and Friends. They didn't know anything about this, but he retired out of Fox apparently and decided to go into real estate, saying that he was going to share with people the secrets of passive investing, and said mostly novice investors say Morris sold them rental properties with a promise to rehab and rent them. All they had to do was sit back and wait for their monthly rent checks. But for many buyers, the purchases turned to nightmares. Uh-oh. Some say their houses were never rehabbed or rented. Others say they received rental checks for several months, only to learn later that the house was vacant or uninhabitable. Many discovered the problems after receiving violation notices from city code enforcement or health departments. Holy cow. Holy cow. I mean, what do you have to do in this world? Look, if you've never read a book, may I suggest to you that you read The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a short book. Og Mandino, I think, is the author of it. It's a very short book, but basically it tells you the premise, the basics of investing. You don't invest with people. Hello?
Please leave your message for
You don't invest with people who don't know what they're doing.
245.
You don't invest with people who aren't in the business. You don't invest with people on a lot of different reasons. Said here that he started buying and selling investment properties while he was co-hosting Fox and Friends Weekend. He was the gadget guru, if you might remember him. He retired from the show in September 2017 after 10 years on the show, saying he wanted to get into the passive investment business. But apparently he got hooked up with a fellow, companies including Ocean Point Investments, Indy Jacks Properties. I guess he was hooked up with a fella by the name of Whalen, and Burt Whalen headed up these Ocean Point, was partners with Clayton Morris and Morris Invest. And, apparently Whalen had a lot of experience. Not really sure how they connected, but Whalen was hit with apparently a $744,000 judgment in 2011 over the sale of 3 homes to an investor. The court ruled Whalen had committed fraud in the deal. The following year, Whalen had filed for bankruptcy, allowing him to escape millions of dollars in debt. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that because people do that all the time. But this whole issue of $744,000 judgment in 2011 over the sale of 3 homes to an investor for fraud, this tells you need to know who you're with. You don't want to be unequally yoked. You don't want to be with people who are crooks. You don't want to be with people who are out there working the market, trying to get it in every little way. That's not fair. That's not right. And things are going to happen. Let's move on to the next story. That story is a little bummer, but let's get to this one. You're going to like this one. This one, if you're a home flipper, if you're a person who goes out and likes to drive for dollars, then you're going to like this story, because in this particular story, we hear about Uber drivers. This is from Realtor.com. It says people, home flippers, are using Uber drivers as real estate scouts. It says real estate firms are hiring ride-sharing drivers from Uber and Lyft to serve as their personal searchers, read drive for dollars, for their next big house flip project, right? maybe you've not thought of this, but maybe you're the kind of guy who goes out and drives for dollars, right? And if you're an Uber driver or a Lyft driver,
Hi, the person you're calling is using a script.
if you're an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, then and let's say, for the sake of argument, that you are also an investor, right? Lots of people I know do that sort of thing. Then you definitely want to obviously drive for dollars while you're doing your Uber thing. But if you're not an Uber driver, I'm sorry, if you're an investor who doesn't do that sort of thing, and you,
The number 5.
but you do want to,
0 6 2.
let's say you do want to drive for dollars, maybe another idea is to talk to these Uber drivers in the world that you know and say, hey, listen, you're driving around all day long. When you find properties in this area at this price, or this sort of problem,
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that is.
if you find something that fits a certain description, let me know, because it says that here apparently this company, when they were doing it, I'm just going to read right here. It says, it's a great way to be able to reach areas that I can't drive around all day. Quote, says Scott Sekulow, who runs Homevestors franchise in Atlanta. Now, if you're down in Atlanta, shout out to Scott Sekulow for giving this quote to the Wall Street Journal. He said, you don't need to know a lot to know that the house needs
Party is currently unavailable to
you don't need to know a lot to know that the house needs repairs. Drivers earn a fee for their help. He's put down, the article says either a sales commission or a fee for each productive lead they submit. You want to be super careful when you're doing that, especially if you're a realtor, because bird dogging fees can actually be against your local real estate board. And if you're paying people for leads like that, or on a commission type thing, you can certainly get yourself into a little bit of an issue. However, there is another situation where it looks like they're paying them for a picture. So if people go out there and they see a house that's got a lot of weeds or a lot of overgrown, trees or debris or deferred maintenance or notices or red tags or things of that notice, if you take a picture of it and you send it to the investor and you give them a copy of the address, then you'll get, some kind of fee for that, for a picture that they submit of a possible property. Now, I don't know how much that is. Maybe it's $1 or $2. Who knows? But when you think about it, if you're out there driving for dollars right now.
UPS store in Brethren. Great girl, how can I help you?
Oh, I think I've got the wrong number. This is a business?
Yeah, this is a UPS store.
Oh gosh, I got the wrong place. Okay, no problem. Hey, since I got you anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home I could buy for cash?
No.
Okay, sorry, brother. Have a great day.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Listen, man, every opportunity, guys, every opportunity. It doesn't matter if it's a wrong number. You always want to ask, because you know what? They might be going through a divorce. They might, they might be that day that they got to, they decided that they were going to sell mom's old place. I don't know. Who knows? But you got to be there, and you got to believe that these things happen for a reason, right? Okay, so anyway, if you're a home investor and you're a flipper, this world is getting so easy. It really is. If you like to drive
You have reached 480.
if you like to drive for dollars, and I mean, not too many people do, but if you're using that as a method of prospecting, driving for dollars, well, then things just got infinitely easier for you. Think about how much money you spent on gas alone. If you've got a car that, that's not getting that kind of good a gas mileage, or you got to sit in traffic a lot, or if you're in areas that are congested and the traffic is just a pain, you have to ultimately decide what your time is worth versus that $1 or $2 you might spend giving an Uber driver for a picture of an unwanted house. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I don't know. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, do me a favor, share this. If you're listening to us on the podcast, make a commitment to like. If you're listening to iTunes, give me, if you thought if you thought this article alone, the Uber driver being used as a scout for a home flipper, if you thought that was a useful tip for you, if you thought that was going to save you $1 or two.
Hello.
Hey, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
That depends.
I might actually have the wrong number, so I owe you an apology. I'm actually looking for the owner of a home over there on Pantano Road, a little townhouse over there on 928. Is that yours?
Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful. I noticed it might have been on the market here recently. Did you still want to sell that?
Nope.
You decided not to sell it?
Yep.
Yeah, I can't say that I blame you. That's a great little area over there. I'm just curious. Do you happen to know of anybody else who might be open to just an all cash offer on their property in that area?
Not offhand.
Huh.
I don't know if there's even any for sale.
I know, that's my problem. No problem. I'm a broker here in town. I'm wondering, at what price would you become a seller?
I wouldn't at this point.
Okay, so it wouldn't matter if I gave you $1 million, you wouldn't leave.
Well, you wouldn't give me $1 million anyway.
Well, that is true. That is true. All right. Well, listen, God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, okay?
You bet.
Take care. Bye-bye. You gotta love people if they're a good sport. You gotta love people if they're gonna say, if they're gonna say, you wouldn't give me $1 million anyway. There's just something, you got to say thank you for. Okay, so let's talk about this other article here. Oh yeah, as I was saying about this Uber driver thing, if you've learned anything on this podcast, give me an honest rating on iTunes. 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever you think it is, honest. That's all I'm asking. Just give me an honest rating and maybe some feedback on YouTube, just so I know how I can make this better. I'm really enjoying doing these series for you. It helps me go through the prospecting that I need to do and make appointments and make it very profitable for everybody. Let's go ahead and also go to the next story. Hoping to make money in real estate, here are 5 tips for a successful house flip, according to CNN. Oh, I'm sorry, USA Today, right? USA Today. I'm gonna have to change the title. Apparently, I think I might have put in there USA or CNN, but it turns out it's actually USA Today. This is an article from Tanisha Sykes. She's a special author to the USA Today folks. She writes this article. 5 tips for a successful house flip. Let's see here. People dialing in. Can't talk right now. There we go. So let's go ahead and hit this. I'm gonna hit you with the high points of what Tanisha says you need to be aware of. If you'd like to check out this article yourself, it was published at 5 o'clock this morning on the 31st, I should say, of May, by Tanisha Sykes over at USA Today. Says the first tip, she says, is to study the market. I think that's certainly good. She says the best opportunities are found off market and outside of sites known as multiple listing services, where brokers can list and see properties for sale. That's absolutely true. The best opportunities are found off market and outside of sites, right? Now they're saying on the multiple listing service, you need to study the market and kind of know that. And I think what she's saying let's just quote. I'm going to quote him right here. This guy says his name is Nathaniel Butler. He's the marketing manager at Washington Capital Partners in Falls Church, Virginia. He says, quote, these properties can be found using off-market dealer platforms. Wholesalers get it under contract and assign it to other buyers, closes on it. Contractors work on flips and by driving dollars. Now, there you go. So he's saying use off-market platforms. If you want to find a good deal, don't look on the multiple listing service. Maybe. As the way I'm kind of reading this, he's saying, look, you can find it, through off-market dealer property platforms. Off-market properties. So he's saying, who are these people?
How can I help you?
Oh, you know what? I think I have the wrong number. I'm actually looking for a homeowner over there on Manlove. Is that your property?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh gosh. Okay, I thought I had the wrong number. No worries. Well, listen, since I've got you here, do you happen to know anybody who's got an unwanted home I could buy for cash?
No, I don't. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
no worries. Well, I appreciate your time and you have a great day, okay?
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Come on. Let's see here. Wrong number. All right, there we go. So he's saying these properties, he's saying what these off-market properties can be found on, right? You can find them through wholesalers. You can find them through contractors or through driving through dollars, through neighbors, with distressed properties. So those are three methods.
Shonda,
Hi, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
fine.
I'm not sure if I have the right person, so I apologize in advance. I was looking for the owners of a property on Easy Street. Is that your property?
That property sold. Thank you.
Oh, it did? Oh, congratulations. Have a great day. All right, good. Sold. Boom. All right. Next. So Nathaniel Butler saying those three methods are a good area, a good way to find property. And I agree. I mean, you could certainly find them through wholesalers. You could certainly ask contractors, and you could certainly drive through dollars. They also said, don't be afraid to enlist an agent. Okay.
Thank you for calling the UPS store. This is Rebecca. How can I help you?
Oh my goodness, I got the wrong number. I apologize.
No, you're fine. No
Sorry, have a
problem.
great day. Bye-bye.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
Let's see here. I didn't even mess with that one because that's, let's see here. That's not, there we go. Boom. The whole property was something I didn't even want. So I don't even know why that got in there. He was also saying that finding an agent would help you. Well, that's certainly true. Now they're talking about finding flips. Before we get into the finding flips, let me add, if I haven't, or if you're just brand new to me and you've never heard me say this before, if you're looking for a way to study the market and to find a good property, you could certainly go to wholesalers.
Hello, you reached West Sampson. I'm sorry I'm not able to take your call right now. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you.
You could certainly talk to wholesalers. You could certainly talk to contractors. You could certainly drive for dollars. All those methods would work. I would also, may I recommend that you check the multiple listing service. Look at the expired listings. Look at the canceled listings. People we're calling right now because many of these people are going to want to sell their property on either terms or a flip or something like that, depending on where you call and who you call. You'll definitely want to talk to those people as well. And those people can be a hidden source of income for you. The next tip she put down is set a budget and a timeline. Whoo, boy, I think we could all agree with that one, right? She put down, the 70% rule. Now, if you're brand new to real estate investing, the 70% rule
Am I able to come to the phone right?
is simply that the repaired value of the property when you think it's all done, what you think it's all worth, minus you go ahead and take 30% out of that. That's 70% of the value of the home that's completely fixed up. Then you take away the repairs, how much you feel it's going to cost to repair the place. And then that kind of gives you an idea of how much you can ultimately pay it for. This is a basic rank kind of valuation system, I think. In a book that I've got coming out here very soon, it's Wholesaling for Real Estate. Hello?
This is Aubrey.
Oh, hi. I think I got the wrong number. I'm sorry. My name's Karl. I'm actually looking for the owners of a property on Deer Crossing Court. Is that your property?
No, I'm the listing agent.
Oh, hallelujah. Did you sell that property or what?
No.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay. So let's see. Let's delete her. Bet that agent's been getting a bunch of calls today. If you're a listing agent, don't put your name in the number trying to be slick, because people like me still get the other owner's number and we get your number too, and you're going to get 500 calls. That's not a smooth move. Don't do that. So the The USA Today article, they're talking about the ARV rule. If you've been in real estate for more than a day, you know that the ARV rule is a rule of thumb. It's not something that is going to be ironclad in every situation. In the book I was mentioning, the Wholesaling for Real Estate Agents book that I got coming out here in the soon future, I'm writing it right now. We're going to talk a lot about how agents can look at the market and find pockets where this ARV rule, maybe not. You can go to 80, 85%, depending on the market, depending on where you at, depending on what you're dealing with. Certainly I wouldn't expect the person to be able to read an article from USA Today and then go out and flip a property for a profit.
Hello, this is Nancy.
Hey, Nancy, this is Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
Oh, just fine. Thanks for asking.
I'm not sure if I have the right person, so please accept my apology in the beginning. Are you the owner of a home over there on Via Corte de Amore?
No, I live in Friendly Village.
Well, see, I've got the wrong person altogether. But that's a shame, too, because you sound like a really nice lady.
Well, so sorry you do have it. I hope you find the right person.
Well, thank you so much. Well, you have a wonderful day and stay out of the heat today, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. She's a nice lady, but not who we need. So, set a budget and a timeline. Absolutely.
Good morning, this is Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. Karl Krentzel, how are you?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm good.
No problem. My name's Karl Krentzel. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm having some allergy issues.
Oh, no worries. Me too. I completely appreciate that. I'm curious about that place on Alvernon Way. Is that still available?
You know what? It expired, and I let the listing expire because I haven't been able to show it at all because it's been completely booked, and it's just now got cleaned and it checked out, and I'm going to keep it available to show for the month of June. I just haven't relisted. So it is on Lockbox. It's not listed on the MLS, but it is on Lockbox. It is available, and so you can go ahead and view it.
Okay, cool. And you're the listing agent, is that correct?
I'm the listing agent and the owner.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right. Just making sure that I'm not going out there and going into a lockbox on somebody's other agent and getting people pissed off at me. I don't want to lose my license.
No, don't do that. Yeah, I know it's my property.
Okay, cool.
And I did have it. Someone did see it yesterday, and in theory, they're supposed to be writing something, but you know how that's where it goes.
Yes, ma'am. I certainly do.
I'm going to get an offer. Come on my way.
I hear you. Well, God bless. I hope you do. All right. Well, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
When will you be checking it out?
Perhaps. I'm going to just let my people know about it.
Okay. Sounds
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So I'm not going to deal with that. There we go. She's an agent who's the owner. That's great. I'm sure she's nice, but that's not going to work for me. I'm not a big fan of that.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic.
Third piece of information they decided to give you was to steer clear of over improvements. Oh, I think that's certainly important. You don't want to go out and over improve a property. I mean, one of the biggest things that people do when they're flipping a property is they tend to go ahead and make it their own the way they would want it. You know, people tend to think, well, gosh, I'm going to put the nice stuff in. I'm going to put the really nice countertops or the really nice furnishing, faucets or upgrades in the kitchen or whatever. And they think about all the things that they would want. And then they try to sell that to the public. And that's just not the way it works. If you're rehabbing a property, if this is your first time rehabbing properties and this is the first time you're kind of getting into it, you have to understand that this is a product that you are putting out. Your product has to appeal to the largest amount of people possible. And if your product is so special.
You've reached Home Tellers and Affordable Divorce Service. Affordable Divorce.
Oh, you know what? I think I have the wrong number. I apologize. Have a great day.
Okay.
Take care.
Day.
You too. Bye-bye. Holy cow. This isn't even in the right state. Oh my goodness. Don't want that. I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. There we go. Move. All right. So, yeah, goodness. I mean, when you think about it, you can't make the property the way you'd want it because this is a product. You have to think about what is cost overruns. You don't want to think about putting too much into this, right? They put down, find the right flip. Find the right flip. Well, I think that's certainly a good idea. It says Avery Karl, a real estate broker in Nashville, Tennessee, flips houses and scours neighborhoods to find properties below market value. Now, I want to give a shout out to Avery Karl out there for a couple reasons. First, because he's got an awesome last name. I mean, Avery Karl, that's an awesome name. Shout outs to Avery Karl, a real estate broker in Nashville, Tennessee. And then the second reason why I want to give a shout out to Avery Karl, a real estate broker in Nashville, Tennessee, is because he flips houses and scours neighborhoods to find properties below market value, which is what you should be doing. You know, if you're a real estate agent listening to this podcast, watching this YouTube video, listening to me, you know, wherever you are, if you're listening to, and you're a real estate agent, you need to be like Avery Karl. He's out there flipping houses, scouring neighborhoods to find properties below market value. Quote, look for houses that are not well maintained with cracked windows, peeling paint, and overgrown grass. Well, that's what Avery says. That's good advice.
Thank you for calling Locksmith.
I mean,
For all
that's
emergencies, please press 1.
certainly goes without saying. I think we'd all know that, right? Oh, excuse me. I guess I owe Avery Karl an apology. Avery is not a man. Avery is a woman. Says Avery, God bless her. I'm sorry, Avery. She, God bless her. She deserves a shout out. Eventually bought and flipped 6 properties over a few years, buying, quote, lipstick flips. We all know what those are. Needing just carpet and paint. Her strategy, buy a $100,000 property, add $40,000 to $50,000 in value, flip it, and net $15,000 to $20,000 in profit. You know, there are so many agents in so many towns that do the very same thing. And maybe if you're a real estate agent and you're just getting started in this, and maybe you don't have.
Thank you for calling. For auto lockout and
Maybe
auto
you
lock
don't have the kind of cash it takes to put, you know, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 into a property, or maybe even $10,000 into a, maybe you're not in that place yet. I get it. No problem. But it doesn't mean that you can't go out and look for these types of properties. They are all over your marketplace. And I would make the argument, as an investor, you probably, as a real estate agent and investor, there's going to be properties out there that are not going to be, what's the word for it? They're not going to be ready to list. They got cat urine and the house is just a mess. But here it is. You got agents out there who are flipping properties who have the cash.
Hello, this is Jane.
Hi, Jane. Karl Krentzel, how are you? Jane?
Fine, yes.
I'm not sure if you remember me. We spoke a very long time ago about your property on Sam Snead. How are you?
Oh, fine. I'm right in the middle of a meeting. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. When's a good time to call back?
I'm going to be putting it on the market. Well, I'm going to put it on the market, but by owner.
Like it was last time?
Oh.
When's a good time to call you back, Jane?
When's a good time to call you back? Oh.
When's a good time for me to call you back?
No, maybe a month. I'm going to give it a month.
Okay, no, I meant about, you said this is not a good time to talk about the house. I just want to talk about the house. When's a good time to talk to you about the house?
Well, if we're just talking about it, next week would be a good time. And, I probably will offer agents some kind of commission.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is your property the one that is like a super special lot that the builder said could not be built on, and then you ended up buying it and getting a? Right. Okay, yeah, I remember your property.
There's also featured in Tucson Life.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I thought that was your property. Okay, so how much are you asking for the property now?
haven't quite decided, but probably, I just don't know. It'll either be right under 600 or like 630,
Okay.
between that.
If you don't mind me asking, did you get any kind of offers at all when it was on the market?
No, I didn't. I really didn't even have any traffic.
Ouch.
Ouch, no.
Okay. Well, when would be a good time for me to come out and talk to you, see what we can do about getting this property actually sold for you instead of just listed again?
Listen, who do you work for?
Sotheby's International Realty. At the time that you and I spoke, the last time, I was working at a different company about, before you listed with them.
Okay.
But now I'm with a luxury brand over here, Russ Lyon Sotheby's International.
Well, I just can't tell you unless you call me next week. Because I'm right in the middle of a meeting.
Okay. God bless you. All right. Well, listen, I'll catch up with you in a few days. All right.
Yeah, next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to call her back here, but let's see here. Let's see. Let's call her in the, all right. So, and then we're going to call her on this day. We'll call her Friday. There we go. All right. Dial again. So Avery's out there buying property, right? And what you need to do is you need to find properties that are currently on the market and that
Please leave your message for
Bob Thompson.
let's see here. Gotta get my screen back together. I got my screen sort of discombobulated now. if you can see what I see right here, there is absolutely nothing on my. I have my an untitled script, a property detail, an activity log, and that's it. There we go. Hide the script. There we go. Hide the script. And how do I roll back up to there? Okay. Well, let's see. How long have we been doing this? An hour and 17 minutes. Oh my gosh. And we got 2 people watching. Holy cow, guys. Thank you for watching. I am, quite honestly, I'm shocked to see that I'm having so much difficulty with this. There we go. Redial. Hang up. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and back on out of that. Let's see. House flip, budget timeline, find the right flip. Okay. Yeah. You know what, guys? I think we've been talking for plenty of time. An hour and 17 minutes is far longer than I had intended. I really appreciate everybody paying attention. I would encourage you to come out and check out my podcast at theredpillinvestor.com, where you can get free scripts. You can also get a lot of other premium podcast episodes and hear the actual appointments that I go on. You hear me set them here. You can hear me make the presentation when I'm at the house. A lot of those podcasts are free. Some of them are premium podcasts. Those are the ones that are like successful listing presentations or wholesale presentations or FSBO presentations. A lot of different things that you can check out. Also, if there's something in particular that you'd like me to cover in the wholesaling for real estate agents book that I'm writing, I've already got a number of chapters already outlined, 70 pages already typed out and ready to get going as far as an ebook. But if there's any other things that you feel are important you'd like me to cover as far as an agent goes in the wholesaling game in that book, please let me know, because I'll be sure to cover it as well. But that book should be ready here in the next few weeks. Keep an eye out for it. Guys, thank you so much. Let's just go and get a quick count of let's end the dialing session right quick. And let's see what we called a whole bunch of expireds. Let's see. Couple of canceleds. Didn't call any cold calls today. No for sale by owners. We made 42 calls. Well, I'm sorry, 42 leads. We made 103 calls, 14 contacts, and set 1 appointment. Okay. And it took us an hour to do it. Obviously, I'm going to do a little bit more prospecting, but I've got an appointment later on today, as I mentioned, with a fellow that I've been following up for quite some time. So hopefully we will be able to go ahead and make a listing happen there. Guys, thank you so much for paying attention. I appreciate you so much. And as always, I hope you have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.